You couldn't do anything and were definitely not to blame, but Romain Grosjean did make contact with you before his crash. Can you explain how difficult it was for you to jump back into the car after that and focus on your own race?
Yeah, it was a difficult day actually in that respect. To be honest, I saw him making contact, and there was not much I could do to avoid that. Of course, I think it's in first laps these things happen. I was first angry that I saw the car cutting across like this, but then I watched in my mirrors and I could see just the fire, the explosion, and I was very, strange emotion, strange feeling. I never saw something like this in all my racing career, and to see this, like something you see only in the movies, it was a bit shocking, to be honest, but I managed to. I was a bit worried at first when I came in the pit lane, of course, about him, but then luckily they told me and they showed the footage of him being okay, and I was relieved. But of course, this image stays with you, and it wasn't easy to get back, to be honest, but that's my job, so I just press the refresh button and go again.
Can we start with Romain Grosjean? You've seen him this week, you've caught up. Can you just tell us, how was he?
I mean, everything taken in consideration, I would say really good. I mean, his spirit is incredible after what he's just been through. He's very positive and reflective on the whole thing, and seems pretty strong about it, I have to say.
And is he hungry to get back in the car?
Yeah, I mean, I went to see him straight after the race on Sunday, literally a few hours after his escape from those scenes on the track. And, already then it was like immediately he was talking about wanting to get back in the car. So I just, I have to take my hats off.
Pietro, welcome. It's great to have you here in the press conference. How much have you dreamt of making your Formula One debut, and how does it feel now that it's going to be a reality?
Yeah, it's a great feeling for sure. I mean, I've been dreaming to race in Formula One since I started racing. I was 4 years old when I started karting. So it's surreal. Obviously, it's not under the best circumstances, my debut, with Romain having his crash, but he's very lucky, coming out with, obviously he burned his hands and he hurt his foot. But very lucky to come out of that the way he did. It's really a miracle, and I got my debut that way. So it's difficult, but obviously I'm happy with the opportunity. Grateful to the team for the trust they have in me, and I'm looking forward to going out already tomorrow.
It's been 3 years since there was a Brazilian in Formula One. How's the news been received back home?
Yeah, it's great. A lot of support. Obviously, motorsport is it's big in Brazil. And we have a lot of drivers, so I've been, getting support from almost all the Brazilian drivers. I've been getting messages, from my family members as well. So it's always good when you have that behind you. It's a good energy to come into your first race, and and then I'll take it step by step in the weekend. But like I said, it's my first race, and I'm super excited.
Any words of advice from your grandfather, double world champion Emerson?
Yeah, I mean, from him and also, from my uncle Max and Christian, all of them said, first, enjoy it. You never have your first, debut in Formula One again. So really go out there, enjoy it, take it step by step, and then pedal to the metal.
When did it first come on your radar that this might be an option?
I got a phone call from Toto at 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning. I was actually in the bathroom at the moment, which was slightly awkward. So he answered the phone. He said, "George, you in the bathroom?" So yeah, sorry, I am in the bathroom. He said, unfortunately, Lewis has caught COVID. He's doing well. He's healthy and feels fine, which is most important. But we want you to drive. So right, okay. And then obviously a bit of a sleepless night, and we sort of made it happen throughout the following day. And I counted yesterday. I had 64 phone calls on Tuesday, pinging between so many different people. So glad we got there in the end.
So what are your goals for the weekend ahead?
Do my best, as it always is. It's going to be incredibly difficult. Valtteri's been pushing Lewis a huge amount over the years. I know it's not going to be an easy task coming in, especially any driver when you're in the groove, you're integrated into the team. I know the level I was at Williams, just having spent 2 years in the same car with my same engineers, same mechanics, and changing suddenly there's so many new things to learn. So I've got no expectations, no targets. Just build up to it over Friday, learn as much as I can, enjoy it, and just do my best. You're much taller than Lewis as well. Bit of a tight squeeze getting into the W11? It definitely was a tight squeeze. Also, my size 11 feet were a struggle, so I'm having to wear a size smaller shoe than would be ideal. So that's slightly uncomfortable, but I'm sure I can endure the pain to get this opportunity. Cut the toes off like James Hunt used to. Yeah, well, I spoke with Bono. He said, I'm sure we can make some mods to your body. I was like, I'm not too sure that's what I was thinking, but no, it's all good. Jack, perhaps if we could start with you, please. Just tell us, how are you feeling ahead of your Formula One debut?
Yep, pretty good, obviously. I don't think I could be any other way. It's been a busy 48 hours or so, but yeah, I'm happy now everything's sorted. I can just focus on getting the job done. So yeah, really excited. Can you give us a chronology of what's happened in the last few days? When were you first contacted by the team and told that this was a possibility, and what's happened since then? Well, such was my impatience that I actually contacted the team and said, so what's going on? And that was on Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, and they just said, look, we're assessing the situation. We'll get back to you. Just sit tight. So I sat tight for several hours, and I was like, come on. And eventually stretched out overnight, and in the morning on Wednesday, confirmation came through, and it was announced, half an hour later or something. So it all happened quite quickly. And you've had a seat fit. How does the car fit? Is it a tight fit? Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Obviously, I did the FP1 in Austria, so it was just a case of checking everything as I remember it. And we have the luxury of a lot more time to actually get prepared and settled in, so it's been pretty smooth so far. And Jack, goals for the weekend? Just to get up to speed as soon as possible, and I think the goal for the team hasn't changed. We want to be trying to get up into the fight with the midfield runners, and hopefully, if there's a bit of chaos and luck, maybe some points. So, we're all going to be pushing for that, the same as always. No Lewis this weekend. I guess that's the first time in your Formula One career that you will take part in a Grand Prix without Lewis on the grid. Just some comments about what it's going to be like to be in a race without him, and the opportunities you may feel.
Yeah, I think anyone can win now. So it's all open. You're right. I've only ever competed with Lewis on the grid. But look, fortunately for him, the championship's tied up. It's obviously, it would be the worst way in the world to lose a championship, is because of this. I think 2020's been weird enough. So I think that's kind of the glass half full approach, or at least mindset, is that he has it wrapped up. And I think as long as he hopefully just has mild symptoms and it's nothing obviously serious, then I think he can be relatively okay with this one and missing this one out. I think for the others, you've seen the whole grid now is really shaken up, and George has an opportunity to obviously have that seat and to have a go, and that's then move Jack into his seat. So it's it's obviously one door closes and another opens for some. So I think the important thing is Lewis is, as I said, it's mild symptoms. Hopefully he's okay and recovers quick, and I think it's the best of a bad situation. What is the mood in the camp coming into this weekend? Because you dropped to P4 and you're now 17 points behind McLaren in that battle for P3.
Yeah, anything can happen. All it takes is one good weekend, and we're back in it. So, no, I think the spirit in the team is still good. We know we have a fast car, and last weekend was unfortunate. It was unfortunate that Checo retired. It was unfortunate that I got hit and we just didn't score any points. So that was too bad. But this weekend's a new weekend, and we're focused on that.
Thank you, Lance. Checo, coming to you. It was, as Lance says, a frustrating weekend for you as well. And when you reflect on the last 3 races, with just a small change in fortune, you could have actually finished on the podium in all 3 races.
Yeah, I think we should have 3 podiums on a row by now, but we only have one. One with the poor strategy, and the other one with just a failure that these things happen. I've said it a long time ago, that the championship was going to be defined by reliability, and I hope that we still can recover, still 2 races to go, and that we can still get that 3rd place back. But given how small the margins are between the 3 of us, McLaren, Renault, and us, having such a big disadvantage is a bit big, just with 2 races left. But we will try, and as always, try to score as many points as we possibly can.
Lando, do you feel that you have given McLaren some breathing space in the battle for P3 in the Constructors' Championship now?
A little one. I don't think it's anything to allow us to relax or anything like that. I think we got a little bit lucky with a few circumstances, I guess, with Racing Point not scoring, so we did capitalize on that. But I don't think, it allows us to relax or kind of think we got it in the bag in any way. I think we're going to go into this weekend with the same mentality of almost thinking we're behind and we have to do everything perfect to almost get ahead. And I think that's the way we have to think if we wanted to pull away. But it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be another very tight weekend, probably tighter than the rest of the year because it's such a small track, and keep the fight going into Abu Dhabi.
The Abu Dhabi post-season test is meant to be for young drivers. Do you think it's fair that Fernando Alonso is allowed to drive for Renault when drivers switching teams can't? And would you have been willing and able to drive for Ferrari if the rules allowed?
I'm willing to test for Ferrari. I think it's no secret, especially now that the hand has been opened a bit by the FIA for drivers that are no rookies or no young drivers to test. I don't see why the FIA wouldn't maybe open the hand a bit also to other drivers. Personally, I wouldn't take any young driver out of the seat. I think Callum, Mick, and Robert Schwartzman, I think they are all still going to test. So I'm not going to, if I jump into a Ferrari, I'm not going to not allow them to test. They're going to still be testing. I think Ferrari is one of the teams that are promoting young drivers the most right now. So I don't see why I shouldn't get the chance also to test. So I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. I don't know what's the FIA's decision, but you can tell that I'm going to try and be there as much as I can.
After your second place last weekend, you said you weren't happy with the strategy and that you would have preferred a more aggressive one. You've complained about Red Bull being too conservative in the past. Where do you think this conservative approach from the team comes from?
I think I just commented last weekend on that we were a bit conservative. So I can only really comment on that. But we have analyzed it, and I think that's good. We'll see what we can do this weekend. See if we can do it better.
And be more aggressive?
If we have to. Every weekend is a bit different.
Honda have said that they're going to upgrade for next year. Which areas in particular are required? Is it the IC side or is it the hybrid side? Where do you think the biggest shortfall lies, please?
Well, it's a bit of both, really, I would say. Merc seemed to clip quite a little bit down the straights, but also quite good just purely down the straights as well. So, it's great to see Honda, pushing, developing through to the very end. Shows a lot of character, and hopefully we can have a good final season with them.
Seb, perhaps we could start with you. You were very vocal on the radio last weekend during the race after you and Charles had a near miss on track. I suppose that's how we describe it. Have you cleared the air? Can you just explain the situation to us?
Well, I think there was never really any air to be cleared, but it was obviously one of those situations where it works out for one, but not for both. It did work out for one of us, but not for both of us. And I took care that we, don't end the race in the first corner. And obviously, it cost me a lot of ground. But I think we spoke about it afterwards. I think Charles understood what I mean, and that's it. There's not much else to say.
Charles, do you understand what Seb meant?
No.
Yes, I do. I mean, surely, as Seb described it, I think it's exactly the way it is. I mean, I gained quite a lot at that start, but he lost quite a lot. And as a team, sometimes you need to look at those situations a bit in a different way. That's the way it is.
Have you had a chance to chat about the collision you guys had? Antonio, give us your thoughts on what happened at the restart.
Yeah, no, I just, after race I went to Kimi to say sorry, but in that moment, I had a racing point in front of me and was lower, and I turned to the right just to overtake him, and as soon as I saw Kimi that was much faster than me on the start, I tried to avoid, but we had a small contact, but yeah, from my side and also from Kimi was all fine.
Kimi, how much damage to your car after that?
Obviously we damaged front wing and something on the floor, but I think the front wing obviously we managed to change, but it's happens and not ideal, but things go wrong sometimes.
Kimi, can we get your thoughts please on you racing against Mick Schumacher, given that of course you raced very closely with his father Michael?
Yeah, I think it's great that he's been signed in F1, and I think it was just a matter of time, obviously, when that will happen. And it's great to see another Schumacher in F1. And obviously, I know him a little bit, and he's such a great guy in general. And I think it's great that he gets his contract, and can race next year.